Now, after the conviction of Rudakubana, who took the lives of those young children, you said it was absurd the country wasn't debating integration more. What did you mean by that?
Well, that incident in Southport affected me really deeply. I have two girls, you know, they love Taylor Swift, and when it happened, I could just imagine it being them. And so it's really hard for me to hear the story without thinking about the impact on victims and looking at how we can make sure that this doesn't happen again. There are a lot of people like that, and there's still information coming up, but there are a lot of people like Rudakubana who are, despite being here from childhood or born here, they're not integrating into the rest of society. They hate their country, and they're being told that everything about the UK is terrible. He had materials about, white genocide and so on. If you are being inculcated in hate, you are not integrating well. And there's so much that we can do across the board, not just on religious extremism, but also just extremism across the board.
But when people use the word integration in conversations like this, that's normally taken to mean people from different racial or different religious backgrounds. As you said, the killer was born in this country. His father's an African Christian. His mother's involved in the church. There are photographs of him in the newspaper this morning at the drama club that he used to go to. What's your evidence in this case that his crimes were anything to do with a lack of integration?
That, I believe, is certainly one of the elements. There will be many elements, but my evidence is my personal experience. I'm saying this as someone from a similar African Christian background, born in this country, that the effort we make to make people feel a part of the whole is very limited, and it shouldn't just be government, it should just be the whole of society. We allow many groups, and I've seen it even in my own personal circles, many groups just to develop their own insular, sort of segregated isolationist ways.
But I'll ask you again, because it's a very sensitive issue and it's important to be really clear. What is your evidence that that was part of the factors in this case? His family were involved in the local community, they were involved in their local church. What's your evidence that a lack of integration was part of the reason that he went on to commit these absolutely heinous crimes?
But Laura, this is part of the problem. I have seen what has come out of the court case. I have made an observation. I think that these are things that need to be looked at. But every single time a politician wants to talk about these issues, there's often a pushback. Well, what's the evidence? Well, we're not really sure. Should we use this sort of language? And the minute we start going down that track, I think we start to lose our way. I have seen a lot of evidence from things like the Commission on Race and Ethnic Disparities, from a lot of the work that I did as a minister, that more needs to be done. And when I see these cases, and it's not just Southport, the rape gangs scandal is another one. There are incidents happening across the country that are forming a picture of things going wrong. And I want us to talk about it. But if every time we start having these conversations, people are shut down, well, we haven't seen the evidence, it's very difficult to get this kind of evidence. We do need personal experience. We do need anecdotes. Those are the things that really help us shift the dial. And we need a whole society approach on integration. And I'm not scared to tell those hard truths. I believe that we need to be honest.
I'm not suggesting for a second that we shouldn't talk about integration, but what I'm asking you to be specific about is, in this appalling case, what is the evidence that his heinous crimes were related in any way to a lack of integration in his community?
Well, this goes well beyond the community. This isn't just about people making friends in the community. It is about the sense of understanding of who they are, what they are doing in a country, why they are there, and why they should want the success of the people around them, the success of the country, not just feeling like they are so set apart. We saw evidence from the court case about the materials that he was reading, some of it religious extremism, some of it racial and ethnic hatred. That's enough for us to go on. We don't need to do, so much research on this for us to even just have a conversation about integration. And that's what I'm talking about. It's something that I'd wanted to do in government. I even had a report where we wanted to look at the success of migrants coming in multiple generations. We ran out of time. That's work that I think we need to make a priority. Let's do that. And that's something that the government will not do. Keir Starmer is scared of these topics. He wants to run away from them. And I think that he needs to not be a lawyer about these issues and lead.